The diamond bracelet caught the light as she raised her champagne flute, causing whispers to ripple through the crowd. Standing confidently beside tech billionaire James Harrington, Eliza Chen was unrecognizable from the broken woman who had signed divorce papers in silence just 18 months earlier. Her ex-husband's jaw dropped when their eyes met across the charity gala, the same man who had told her she would be nothing without him. If you're enjoying this story of remarkable transformation and sweet justice, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more incredible journeys of resilience and triumph. 3 years ago, Eliza's life had been predictable but comfortable. At 32, she had been married to Richard Chen for 7 years, working as an administrative assistant at his family's investment firm. The Chen family had always made her feel like an outsider, the scholarship girl who had somehow trapped their golden son. Richard's mother never missed an opportunity to remind Eliza of her humble beginnings in their small Midwestern town. "Richard needs a partner who understands his world," Mrs. Chen would say during their weekly family dinners, her smile never reaching her eyes. "Someone who can help him make the right connections." Eliza had tried desperately to fit in, taking etiquette classes, learning Mandarin, and abandoning her dreams of opening a small bakery to support Richard's career. She had shrunk herself to fit into the box they had created for her. The day everything changed started like any other. Eliza had been preparing Richard's favorite meal when he came home, his expression unreadable. "I want a divorce," he said without preamble, loosening his tie and pouring himself a whiskey. "My lawyer will contact you with the papers." Eliza stood frozen, the wooden spoon dripping sauce onto the pristine kitchen floor. "What? Why?" "We both know this isn't working," Richard replied, not meeting her eyes. "You've never really fit into my world, Eliza. Melissa understands the business, the expectations. Her father is on the board of 3 companies I'm trying to partner with." Melissa. His 25-year-old assistant. The pieces clicked into place, the late nights, the weekend conferences, the sudden distance. "How long?" Eliza whispered. "Does it matter?" Richard drained his glass. "You can stay here until the papers are ready. I'll be at the Waldorf." That night, Eliza cried until her body ached. 7 years of marriage, dissolved in a 3-minute conversation. She called her best friend, Sophie, who rushed over with ice cream and tissues. "Fight for what's yours," Sophie urged. "His family's loaded. You gave up your career for him." But something had shifted inside Eliza. A strange calm settled over her as she realized she had been slowly disappearing for years, becoming a shadow of herself to please a man who had never truly seen her. "No," she said quietly. "I don't want anything from them." When the divorce papers arrived, Richard's lawyer seemed surprised by her lack of demands. She signed without contesting, asking only to keep her grandmother's recipe books and the small inheritance she'd received before their marriage. Richard and his family were suspicious of her easy acquiescence but relieved to avoid a messy legal battle. The day the divorce was finalized, Eliza moved into a tiny studio apartment and applied for a job at a local bakery. The owner, an elderly woman named Rosa, took one look at Eliza's trembling hands and offered her tea instead of an interview. "Tell me why you want to bake," Rosa said, her accent thick but warm. "It's the only time I feel like myself," Eliza admitted. "My grandmother taught me. When I'm creating something with my hands, I remember who I am." Rosa hired her on the spot. The pay was minimal, but for the first time in years, Eliza felt a spark of joy as she kneaded dough and experimented with flavors. Her specialty became an innovative fusion of traditional American desserts with Asian influences, matcha brownies, black sesame cookies, and yuzu tarts that quickly developed a following among the bakery's customers. 6 months into her new life, a man in an expensive suit entered the bakery just before closing. He ordered one of everything Eliza had made that day and sat in the corner, methodically tasting each item and making notes on his phone. "These are extraordinary," he said when Eliza approached to clean his table. "Who created these recipes?" Eliza blushed. "I did. The man, James Harrington, founder of Nexus Technologies, offered her a job on the spot as the executive pastry chef for his company's new chain of upscale cafes attached to his co-working spaces. "I've been looking for something unique," he explained. "Your flavors tell a story. They're familiar but surprising, exactly what I want my brand to represent." The salary he offered was more than Eliza had ever earned, with creative control over the menu and a small ownership stake in the cafe division. Rosa encouraged her to take the opportunity, though Eliza felt guilty about leaving. "You were never meant to stay hidden in my little bakery," Rosa said, patting her cheek. "Some birds need bigger skies." Working with James transformed Eliza's life. He valued her opinions, encouraged her creativity, and introduced her to a world of business she had only glimpsed from the sidelines during her marriage. The cafes, named Fusion in honor of Eliza's baking style, became wildly successful, expanding from 3 locations to 30 within a year. As the brand grew, so did Eliza's confidence. She hired and trained staff, developed seasonal menus, and even appeared on a popular cooking show that catapulted Fusion into national awareness. Her signature cookbook became a bestseller, and food magazines featured her innovative approach to baking. James and Eliza developed a close friendship built on mutual respect. Unlike Richard, James really saw her, appreciating both her talent and her growing business acumen. When he invited her to be his guest at the annual Tech Innovation Charity Gala, Eliza accepted without hesitation. The gala was held at the same hotel where Richard's family hosted their company events. Eliza knew he might be there but found she no longer cared. She chose a simple but elegant emerald gown that complemented her newly confident posture. James gifted her a diamond bracelet to celebrate Fusion's success, "an investment in my most valuable partner," he called it. When they entered the ballroom, Eliza felt none of the insecurity that had plagued her at similar events during her marriage. She moved easily through conversations with CEOs and investors, discussing Fusion's expansion plans and fielding partnership offers. It was during one such conversation that she felt a familiar gaze. Richard stood across the room, his expression a mixture of shock and disbelief. Beside him, Melissa fidgeted uncomfortably with her purse, looking bored. "Eliza?" Richard approached, eyes darting between her and James. "I hardly recognized you." "Richard," she acknowledged with a polite smile. "How are you?" Before he could answer, James returned with champagne. "Everything okay here?" he asked, his hand resting lightly on the small of Eliza's back. "James, this is Richard Chen, my ex-husband," Eliza said calmly. "Richard, James Harrington, founder of Nexus Technologies and my business partner." Richard's eyes widened at the introduction. Everyone in the business world knew James Harrington, the billionaire visionary whose company had revolutionized the tech industry. "Business partner?" Richard repeated. "Eliza is the creative genius behind Fusion," James explained proudly. "Her division has increased our company valuation by 20% in the last quarter alone." The conversation was mercifully brief. As Richard walked away, Eliza felt the final weight of her past lift from her shoulders. She wasn't James's arm candy or trophy, she was his respected business partner, valued for her mind and talent. Later that evening, Richard's mother approached her at the dessert table, eyeing the elaborate Fusion-catered display. "I always said you should stick to what you know," Mrs. Chen said, her tone unreadable. "Perhaps I was right, just not in the way I meant." Eliza smiled genuinely. "Thank you for the advice, Mrs. Chen. It turns out what I know is exactly what I needed to succeed." As the gala ended, photos of James and Eliza appeared on social media, describing her as the culinary innovator revolutionizing corporate dining and Nexus Technologies' secret weapon. Her phone buzzed with messages from old friends and acquaintances, many expressing amazement at her transformation. In the car ride home, James turned to her with a serious expression. "The board wants to take Fusion public as its own entity. You'd be CEO, with the full backing of Nexus." Eliza's breath caught. Are you serious? Deadly serious. You've built something extraordinary, Eliza. Something uniquely yours. It's time the world recognized that. 2 years after signing her divorce papers without contest, Eliza Chen rang the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange as Fusion went public in a highly successful IPO. The bakery girl who had been told she would be nothing without her husband's family name had created a multi-million-dollar brand through her own talent and determination. That evening, she visited Rosa's bakery, now renovated and expanded with Eliza's investment. "I brought you something," Eliza said, handing Rosa a small box containing a gold pendant shaped like a whisk. "You were my first investor," she explained as Rosa's eyes filled with tears. "The first person who saw value in what I could create. I just gave you space to become who you already were," Rosa replied, embracing her. "You did the hard part yourself." As Eliza walked back to her car, she passed a young woman sitting alone on a park bench, tears streaming down her face. Something in the woman's defeated posture reminded Eliza of herself on the night Richard had asked for a divorce. She sat down beside the stranger and offered a tissue. "Whatever you're going through, it's not the end of your story," Eliza said gently. "Sometimes what feels like an ending is just making space for a better beginning." The woman looked up, surprised by the kindness from a well-dressed stranger. "How can you know that?" Eliza smiled. "Because I've been where you are. And the view from the other side is better than I ever imagined." As she walked away, Eliza realized that her greatest achievement wasn't the successful business or the financial security she'd built for herself. It was reclaiming her own worth, recognizing that she had always been enough, exactly as she was. The diamond bracelet on her wrist caught the light as she hailed a taxi, not as a symbol of someone else's wealth, but as a reminder of her own value, a value she would never again allow anyone to diminish. If this story of transformation and self-discovery touched your heart, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring content. Remember, sometimes the most beautiful journeys begin with the courage to walk away from what no longer serves you. Your own remarkable chapter might be waiting just around the corner.